This video contains information that may not be suitable for children. Parental discretion is advised.
In the YouTube manosphere and red pill community, they often quote a statistic that says 80% of divorces in the black community are filed by women. They always talk about the problem, brothers, but they never tell you how to keep your women from divorcing you. See, 95% of these men don't have an answer, so they can't give it to you. The other 5% do have an answer, but they won't give you that answer. And why? It's because they know that if they give you the answer, it'll solve your problem. Then you will no longer need to view their content and they will lose money. See, there is a lot of victimization going on in social media. If you consume a lot of red pill and manosphere content, brothers, you have become a victim of the "it's all women's fault" cult. So if you want to be rescued, I'm going to help you escape that cult by explaining the 7 reasons why black women divorce black men. Then you will know how to pick the right woman and be able to lead her to never want to lead you. All right? So let's talk about it. Now, normally I charge $2,000 per couple for this information in my premarital financial counseling course. And the reason why I make men pay that much is because men who have to pay will pay attention. Men who don't have to pay think they have the option of listening. See, cats that didn't invest in the knowledge try to conclude that the parts that are critical about men or that pertain to them are just my opinion. However, this knowledge works on the all or nothing principle. See, you can't just apply some of it and expect it to work. See, your car needs all of its parts to work, right? You can't leave out some parts and expect it to run. And you may not like the fact that you have to pay for gas, and you may not like the fact that you have to get oil changes regularly for your car to run properly. However, if you want to keep your car and make it work for you, you must have everything necessary to keep it running and keep it working properly. Now, if you're that guy who just said, well, what about the women? Click off this video now, fool. You're too immature to be here, okay? And it's true that it takes both people working together to make a marriage work. And it's true that it takes 2 to tangle, but it also takes 2 to tango, okay? In order to make a woman want to tango with you and not tango, you have to know how to lead her. And 8 times out of 10, if a marriage fails, it's because the man was a failure as a leader. See, the word leader is comprised of the words lead and her. Women never leave a man who knows how to lead her, and women that dance salsa don't like to dance with a man who's not a good leader. See, she hates it when a guy does not give clear direction so she can easily do what he wants her to do and stay in step. See, salsa dancing is not fun for a woman if there's not a lot of twists and turns and if she doesn't get the freestyle for a while. See, women will line up to dance salsa with a man that's a good leader, and some of them will even want him to be their man so that they can have him all to themselves. And if you want to keep your wife from divorcing you, and you want to keep her dancing to your tune, you need to know all of the 7 following things, okay? The high-tech pimp game, how to pick the right wife, what a marriage is and how it works, how to communicate, how relationships work, how to be a husband, how to seduce your woman and get regular sex. Now, there is a whole lot more to this than I'll be able to share with you in a YouTube video, okay? If you want to get all the information necessary to keep a woman from divorcing you, sign up for my Kingmakers Masterclass, all right? Marriage is a physical entity that is powered by a spiritual property. In order for you to manage a marriage properly, you must first build your life on a solid spiritual foundation so that you can learn how to manage spiritual power, all right? And believe it or not, every Fortune 500 corporation is built on a solid spiritual foundation. Fortune 500 CEOs know how to manage spiritual power. And if you want to manage your marriage like a Fortune 500 CEO manages their organization and get the kind of wealth that they're able to produce as a result, sign up for the Kingmakers Masterclass today. All right? Now, when it comes to women, what does a pimp really do? He leads the woman to use her power to help him fulfill his vision and mission while making him wealthy in the process, right? Pimps use their leadership skills to lead a woman to submit to them because she wants to, not because she has to. That's why we can classify the megachurch pastors as some of the biggest pimps on the planet. See, they simply lead thousands of women to help them fulfill their vision and mission and to make them wealthy. Megachurch pastors become worth a lot of money because they also understand that a woman's power is the type of currency that is designed by God to help her make her family wealthy. And see, her economic power is fueled by her spiritual power, which is called currency. So they use the spiritual power in a woman's currency to help them become wealthy. Now, it's important to remember that a woman's body is a physical entity, but her spirit is her body's spiritual property. And one of the things that causes men to fail with women is they have been led to believe that our spirit and soul are the same thing. See, our soul is actually the mind or brain of our spirit. Our soul is where multi-million-dollar ideas or currency is generated. Now, the soul has a spiritual property also that causes a man's ideas, his money, and his honey to flow away from them, okay? The spiritual property of a woman's currency causes her to leave or flow away from a man that does not understand how to utilize her power properly. See, she will go or flow like currency into the hands of a man that does know. Proverbs 4:7 warns us to get understanding, and Proverbs 5:9 and 10 tells us why. It says, lest you give your honor unto others, and your years unto the cruel, lest strangers be filled with your wealth, and your labors be in the house of a stranger. You see, if you do not understand what to do with a woman, it'll cause her to divorce you. Then she will move another man into the house that you paid for and build the wealth with him that she could have built with you. Now, we've all seen a woman who left one man and did better with another. And this is why that happened, all right? Once a man understands how a woman's currency works, he will be armed with the knowledge to utilize his wife's spiritual power properly to make their family wealthy. All right. He will also have the power to keep her currency from flowing to another man and making him wealthy. All right. Now, the leading cause of divorce today is bad finances. Bad finances will kill a marriage quicker than infidelity. A woman might forgive a man for cheating with another woman. She knows that old heifer might have tricked him anyway, all right? But if he buys that woman a $600,000 house, she will never forgive him for doing that, all right? Therefore, the primary cause of bad finances in a marriage is the husband not knowing how to utilize his wife to help him generate wealth for their family. The problem today is we have too many men that were raised by women who act like women, all right? They don't understand that a marriage is a business or a money-making entity, so they get married for love instead of money. Then when the love wears off and the woman doesn't get the money, she takes half of the guy's net worth and leaves. In order to prevent this from happening to you, brothers, you must receive some training on how to be a husband so that you can learn how to lead and manage a woman's emotions. This is very important because emotions like anger can cause both men and women to destroy things very quickly. The average man who was in prison for murder made an emotional decision out of anger and he killed another person, right? The average woman that filed for divorce made an emotional decision out of anger and killed her marriage. Therefore, before a man gets married, he needs another man to teach him how to use patience to lead and manage a woman's emotions. See, brothers, patience is power, and it takes the power of patience to lead a woman to help a man build the marriage rather than destroy it. Another reason why a man must find someone to teach him how to be a husband is so that he can pick the right wife. The majority of men grew up today without a father in the home. Therefore, they did not have a man to teach them, either by word or deed, how to pick the woman that is right for him. Thus, the average man has no clue that there's a difference between a woman, a married woman, and a wife. Proverbs 18:22 says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." It does not say he who finds a woman. If a man has learned to be a husband, marries a woman, he will only have a married woman. A wife understands that her sole purpose on this planet is to be a helpmeet for her husband. See, she understands that she only has two functions within that purpose, all right? To help a man fulfill his God-ordained purpose and to use her God-given power to help make their family wealthy. So a man has to choose a wife to marry rather than a woman. See, a wife is leadable and teachable, whereas the average woman today is highly indoctrinated by feminist ideology to believe that she should walk beside her husband rather than follow him. Therefore, if a man does decide to marry a woman instead of a wife, she has to be a woman that is leadable and teachable so that he can teach her how to be his wife. See, if she had been married before to a man named John, she already knows how to be John's wife. So her new man has to teach her how to be his wife so that she won't try to do what she did with John or try to make him become John. In order for a man to lead and teach his woman to be his wife, not the last dude she was with, he has to understand what she'll be going through physically, mentally, and emotionally and spiritually while she is making the transition to becoming his wife. That means that he has to understand that there is a difference between getting married and being married. See, getting married is a one-day event, but in order to be married, it takes about 3 to 5 years, depending on the couple's level of maturity, to complete the long, hard process of becoming married. The process of becoming married requires you to die to your single life, brothers and sisters, and be resurrected into new life as one with another person. It's very difficult for many people to give up their single life and the people, places, the activities and things associated with being single in order to be married. And again, it takes 3 to 5 years to accept the idea that we have to bury that single person if we want to remain married after we get married. So a lot of people, especially those that have a low level of maturity, actually go through the 5 stages of grief once they realize that their single life has died. Okay? Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, right? When a person gets hit with the reality that they have to kill their single life, they go into denial and refuse to face that reality. Then they get angry over the suggestion that they can no longer be that person. And next they try to bargain so they can hang out with the boys or go out with the girls every now and then. And next they get depressed because it's no longer fun to try to remain single while having marriage responsibilities. And finally, they accept the fact that they are married and that they have to build a new life as a married couple. Now, it's important for a man to already be a husband before he gets married so that he can have the knowledge and the maturity necessary to help his wife go through the 5 stages of grief on the way to becoming married. See, everybody handles grief differently, and some couples get divorced after they have a death in the family, and some couples divorce after they realize that they have to die to their single life. Now, in order to prevent his wife from going back to her single life, a man has to let her grieve the way that she wants to. All right. And once she overcomes her grief and completes the process of becoming married, then they will be married. A woman was made by God to be highly emotional and highly social. See, they love to communicate, and that's why they like to talk and chatter excessively to the point where it drives men crazy. See, men who lack the proper knowledge and skills, they try to relieve their suffering by attempting to force their woman to stop talking. However, that will cause a woman that has any level of self-esteem to leave her husband. So men have to learn to constantly communicate with women in ways that does not always involve talking. And if a man learns to communicate with his woman in the following 4 ways constantly, she won't have a need to do so much talking. Okay? And that involves non-sexual talking, which is a form of communication that says, I like you for you. Sitting close is a form of communication that says, I like to be near you. Intercourse is a form of communication that says, I'm okay, you're okay. And conversation is a form of communication that says, I want to hear you. You will find that the average couple who is sitting in divorce court have fallen into a cycle where they stop touching each other. Okay? When a couple stops touching, they stop talking and communicating. Okay? When couples stop communicating, they usually uncouple and drift apart. And guys, you can make your marriage last a long time if you do 3 simple things for your wife. Stop for her, talk to her in a way that is mentally and emotional pleasing, and touch her. Stop for her means that whenever you hear her say the words, I need, even if she said, I need you to take out the trash, you must stop what you are doing and respond immediately, because she is having an emotional reaction to the trash being in the house and she wants it out. If you don't respond immediately, you are going to have a problem, all right? Even if you do it later, you are still going to have a problem because you did not satisfy her emotional need. And guys, you can be the best man on the planet, but if you cannot satisfy your wife's emotional needs, she is going to leave you. When broken down syllabically, we see the word relationship has three parts: the prefix re, the suffix ship, and the base word late. One of the dictionary definitions of the word late is connected. One of the dictionary definitions of the word ship is to go somewhere, and the prefix re means back, over, and again. Therefore, the true meaning of the word relationship is to connect repeatedly in an effort to go somewhere. So men have to ask themselves this question: is your marriage or relationship going anywhere? If your wife comes to you and asks you the question, where are we going with this marriage? You had better have a good answer, or she will decide to go somewhere that does not involve going with you. All right. Now, American culture has set men up for failure in marriage, and it is hard for men to remain married successfully because the definitions of the words associated with marriage and relationships are all wrong. Therefore, it is difficult for men to obtain the right understanding of what marriage and relationships are, okay? If a man can't understand what something is, then he won't actually know how to make them work to his benefit. Now, let's break down the words couple, going together, dating, and courting, and we'll see how we have gotten their proper meanings all twisted, okay? The word couple means to be inextricably linked in a way that you cannot be pulled apart. See, once two train cars couple, the engine pulling them will not be able to pull them apart. Two people cannot be deemed to be going together until after they couple. If you can be pulled apart, then you are not actually coupled, all right? Now, courting is where a person's family examines and makes a judgment as to whether the person you are thinking about marrying is good marriage material. Anyone who thinks that nobody can judge them or only God can judge them is not good marriage material. Now, the word date is an acronym that means a divine appointment to edify. A date is a divine appointment to lift a person up for examination before God and family to see if they are worth marrying. Now, here's a Muppet newsflash, brothers. Dating begins once you have set and are moving toward a wedding date. People call this point in a couple's relationship being engaged, but most of the time they have not even set and are not moving toward a wedding date. So my question is, what are they engaged in? Dating is engaged in the process of getting ready for the wedding. Dating is not a time for dinner, dancing, movies, and exclusive sex. Men who want their marriage to be for a life or to end right must start right. Every man that wants to be married and raise a family must have a reason why he wants to do it, okay? And he must establish how he wants it to end before it begins. Therefore, his reason for getting married must contain his vision and mission for the marriage. If a man has no vision and no mission, he will not be able to lead a woman to see the reason why she should marry him. He has to make her see what they will be able to accomplish together other than just having babies or going to work every day, all right? Now, our society sets men up for marriage failure because he doesn't need to know anything in order to get married. We don't have to prove that we know anything about being a husband, leading a wife, raising the children, or managing finances. They say that you must have a marriage license, but you don't need to know anything to get the license. You only need to have the money to pay the fee. Now, the irony is, in order to get a license as a plumber or financial planner, you have to take a test to prove that you know what you are doing. However, in order to get married, you only need to know a woman that is either foolish or cunning enough to marry you. And since there is no requirement to have knowledge on how to be a husband before a man gets married, most men think that they don't think that they need to learn how to be a husband before they get married. See, they were never taught that knowing how to be a husband serves as a type of divorce insurance. Women rarely leave the men who know how to be a husband. And see, proper husband training prepares a man to endure the long, hard process of becoming married after they get married. And at some point during the marriage process, men who don't get proper husband training recognize that their marriage is failing, and then they start complaining that the woman is the problem. See, these men get very prideful and they don't like to be questioned about how they might be contributing to the problem. And I find it amazing that over 50% of the marriages in America end up in divorce, yet we have a whole country full of men who don't think that they need some kind of marriage or husband training. Brothers, men who are responsible take responsibility for everything. If we want to take credit for creating a good marriage, we have to take responsibility for a failed marriage. All right. We all know that it takes two to tango, so we can't say that it's all the woman's fault. Okay. You may be that misfortunate guy who married a woman who was cunning, but most of the time the real problem will be that you're incompetent. All right. You have no clue as to how to pick the right woman. You have no knowledge or skills that will help you be a better husband. Therefore, you will get dogged and dumped by your wife. See, a real husband is the king of his castle. And so you have an opportunity to sign up for my Kingmakers Masterclass right now. And if you fail to do so, that's a sign of your immaturity, all right? It means that you are not ready or that you may not even deserve to have a wife and family. Now, brothers, a lot of men get divorced or dumped by women for two simple reasons, okay? You stink and you fire off rockets in the bedroom instead of time bombs. All right. Now, for some reason, a lot of you cats think that it's okay for you to not take a bath or shower every day. Dudes who don't shower don't brush their teeth either, so they are walking around with yuck mouth and a funky butt. All right. When you stink and you have bad breath, your woman will refuse or find an excuse to refuse to let you climb on top of her because you're a walking funk factory. All right. Now, those brothers who don't shower, brush their teeth daily, don't change their underwear either. All right. So if a woman did decide to push past your funky smell, she will find out immediately that you're wearing candy pants, all right, with lemon drops in the front and Hershey bars in the back. Now, most decent women will get disgusted and run away from you when they see that you have yellow, brown, and in some cases green, a biohazard growing in your drawers, all right? Now, have some class, wash your ass, all right? Then perhaps your woman will want to make love to you on a regular basis. Now, brothers, y'all do know that there's a difference between banging and making love, right? Women actually like both, but at different times. So you have to know her well enough to know when to beat it up or slow it down. However, if the only thing you bring to every session is 6 pumps and a pop-off, she will eventually stop wanting to do it with you entirely. See, women like a time bomb, not a pop rocket. Now, immature guys will say that it takes too long for a woman to get off, and they complain that they don't have time for all of that foreplay because they have to get up and go to work the next day. See, those men are not mature enough to understand that an orgasm begins in the brain. Foreplay doesn't begin in bed at night. It begins when you kiss her and smack her butt before you leave for work. It continues when you call her in the middle of the day to say that you've been thinking about her and you say something nasty or sexy, okay? Now, it continues when you surprise her with a little something for no reason. And see, preparing a woman's body to orgasm must be cultivated throughout the day if you want it to happen at night. Now, I'm sure that you've heard of the ABS braking system on a car, right? Well, women will apply their brakes for men who don't understand how to apply ABS to their marriage. And ABS stands for always be sexy. And that means wash your ass, keep your breath fresh, stay in shape, throw your candy pants in the garbage, and always wear that cologne that makes her want to let down her hair and go there, all right? Now, in summary, my brothers, men can end the problem of 80% of women divorcing or leaving them by doing the 7 following things, okay? Understand high-tech pimp game, learn how to pick the right wife, learn what marriage is and how it works, develop communication skills, develop relationship skills, develop husband skills, and develop your seduction skills, all right? Amen. Well, that's all that I have for now. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, share this video with your family and friends, and I'll be back with something new that nobody told you. Until then, remember that God loves you, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'll see you next time on Maximizing Fatherhood.